is full of questions, and the sky is full of rain. When I'm worrying about what I can't change, I take a look at my reflection and try to make a funny face, and for a second all my sorrows melt away. 'Cause if we just smile, we can forget all of our troubles for a while. We can just live inside this moment. You and I get through the darkness knowing we'll find the light. If we just smile, if we just smile. Yeah, if we just smile. Maybe we focus on the future. No use in living in the past. Try to remember that the bad times never last. And every day one step at a time, we gonna make it alright. If we stick together, we'll be fine. 'Cause if we just smile, we can forget all of our troubles for a while. We can just live inside this moment. You and I get through the darkness knowing we'll find the light. If we just smile, if we just smile when the sky is falling, smile when the love comes calling. We can take tomorrow on with style. If we just smile, we can forget all of our troubles for a while. Yeah, we can just live inside this moment. You and I get through the darkness knowing we'll find the light. If we just smile, if we just smile. Yeah, if we just smile. If we just smile. Yeah, if we just smile. If we just smile.
Eyes on the prize, I know sometimes you might fall on your way. Throw your hands up, you get down when things don't fall into place. Mad at the world, yeah, I've been there before. Lost and confused and thinking that you can't take anymore. No, 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 don't worry about nothing, oh, it's all gonna be good. Oh, 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 you're really something now, didn't you know that you could? No, 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 don't worry about nothing, oh, it's all gonna be good. Don't worry about nothing, don't worry about nothing, nothing now, it's all gonna be good. So breathe like you know you should. Yeah, breathe till you've understood. Until you're feeling like yourself again. Feel the sunlight on your skin. Keep your heartbeat beating. Go on, breathe in. Take a look around you here right now, you remember this time. 'Cause you only got the moment, so own it while you're alive. Taking it all in one blink at a time. Just let it be and you will see everything will align. No, 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 don't worry about nothing, oh, it's all gonna be good. Oh, 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 you're really something now, didn't you know that you could? No, 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 don't worry about nothing, oh, it's all gonna be good. Don't worry about nothing, don't worry about nothing, nothing now, it's all gonna be good. So breathe like you know you should. Yeah, breathe till you've understood. Until you're feeling like yourself again. Feel the sunlight on your skin. Keep your heartbeat beating. Go on, just go on, breathe in. Oh no, 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 no. Breathe in, breathe in, breathe in. Go on, breathe in. Go on, breathe in.
Castle on the hill, let's spit it out of stew. Girl, I know that this love it will last. Let's journey up the road, ain't gotta take it slow. You know that I don't want no one else. I'll put my pride aside, I traded this whole life just for one night, just for one night. It's like heaven, ooh, feels like heaven when I'm with you. It's like heaven, ooh, feels like heaven when I'm with you. It's more than a true, I'm following what's true. And don't get mad when they don't understand. Love you like a tide, pull you close at night. Now won't let all these waves knock us down. I'll put my pride aside, I traded this whole life just for one night, just for one night. It's like heaven, ooh, feels like heaven when I'm with you. It's like heaven, ooh, feels like heaven when I'm with you. I never go with the wind, just let it flow. Let it take me where it wants to go, till you open the door. And there's so much more, I've never seen it before. I was trying to fly, but I couldn't find ways. But you came along and you changed everything.
Supraspinatus muscle. Supraspinatus is one of the rotator cuff muscle along with infraspinatus, teres minor, and subscapularis muscle. Supraspinatus is located deep to the trapezius muscle in the posterior scapular region, extending from the supraspinous fossa of scapula to the proximal humerus. Together with the other rotator cuff muscle, supraspinatus stabilize the glenohumeral or shoulder joint during the movement of the upper limb. Additionally, it assists in the abduction of It originates from the medial aspect of the supraspinous fossa, a concave depression located above the spine of the scapula. The muscle fibers converge into a tendon that runs inferior to the acromion of the scapula. After passing over the glenohumeral joint, it inserts into the superior facet of the greater tubercle of humerus. Supraspinatus is innervated by the suprascapular nerve formed by the anterior rami of spinal nerves C5 and C6. Infraspinatus is a thick triangular muscle that occupies the majority of the dorsal surface of the scapula. It arises mostly from the infraspinous fossa of the scapula and connects it to the proximal humerus. Infraspinatus is one of the four rotator cuff muscle, alongside subscapularis, teres minor, and supraspinatus muscle. As part of the rotator cuff muscle, the main function of infraspinatus muscle is external rotation of the humerus as well as stabilization of glenohumeral or shoulder joint. It originates with strong muscle fibers directly from the medial two-thirds of the infrapinous fossa, where areas its tendinous fibers arise from the ridge of the fossa. Some fibers also originate from the deep surface of the thick infrapinous fascia covering the infrapinatus muscle that separates it from the teres major and minor muscle. Like the supraspinatus, infrapinatus is also innervated by the suprascapular nerve that arises from the upper trunk of the branchial plexus, derived from the roots C5 and C6. Subscapularis muscle. Subscapularis muscle is a triangular shoulder muscle located in the subscapular fossa of scapula. Attaching between the scapula and the proximal humerus, it is one of the four muscles of the rotator cuff along with supraspinatus, infrapinatus, and teres minor. Subscapularis is a strong triangular muscle that fills the subscapular fossa of the scapula, lying posterolateral to the thoracic cage. It starts as a wide muscle whose medial two-thirds originate from the subscapular fossa of scapula and from several tendinous intramuscular septa at the ridge of fossa. The large subscapular bursa that communicates with the shoulder joint separate the subscapularis tendon from the neck of the scapula. The tendon then inserts to the lesser tubercle of humerus and anterior part of the articular capsule of glenohumeral joint. Subscapularis is innervated by the upper and lower subscapular nerve C5-C6 that stem from the superior and posterior cords of the branchial plexus respectively. Teres minor originates from the scapula via two heads that are separated by a groove for the circumflex scapular artery. The attachment site spans the upper two-thirds of the lateral border of scapula. The fiber quickly fuse into a single muscle belly which courses superolaterally towards the proximal humerus. Teres minor inserts into the greater tubercle of humerus. Specifically, the superior fiber of the muscle give off a short tendon that inserts to the inferior facet of the greater tubercle of humerus, while the inferior fiber insert adjacent to this directly onto the proximal shaft of humerus, just distal to the tendon of the superior part and proximal to the origin of the lateral head of triceps brachii. Teres minor shares its innervation with the deltoid muscle. This is supplied by the axillary nerve C5-C6, which stems from the posterior cord of branchial plexus. The deltoid is a thick triangular shoulder muscle. It gets its name because of its similar shape to the Greek letter delta. The muscle has a wide origin spanning the clavicle, acromion, and spine of the scapula. It passes inferiorly surrounding the glenohumeral joint on all sides and inserts onto the humerus. The deltoid muscle has a very broad origin and a narrow base, thus creating a triangular shape. The three parts of the deltoid each have a different origin. The clavicular anterior part originates from the superior surface and the anterior border of the lateral third of the clavicle. The acromial middle part arises from the lateral margin and superior surface of the acromion of scapula. The scapular spinal posterior part originates from the lateral one-third of the spine of the scapula on the crest. The deltoid muscle is innervated by one of the main branches of branchial plexus, the axillary nerve, C5-C6. The serratus anterior muscle is a fan-shaped muscle at the lateral wall of the thorax. Its main part lies deep under the scapula and the pectoral muscle. It is easy to palpate between the pectoralis major and latissimus dorsi muscle. In athletic body, the muscle may be even visible to the naked eye along the ribs underneath the axilla. The serratus anterior muscle originates from the first to 8th or 9th ribs and inserts at the anterior surface of the scapula. Due to its course, it has a serrated or two-toothed appearance. The muscle is further divided into three: superior part, intermediate part, and inferior part. Superior part consists of first to second rib, superior angle of the scapula. Intermediate part, second to third rib, medial border of the scapula. And inferior part, fourth to eighth or ninth rib, medial border, and inferior angle of the scapula. The innervation is supplied by the long thoracic nerve C5 to C7, a branch of the branchial plexus. The latissimus dorsi muscle. The latissimus dorsi muscle, aka the lats muscle or the LAS. It is the widest muscle in the human body. It is relatively thin and covers almost all back muscle at the posterior trunk, except the trapezius. The latissimus dorsi muscle spans over the lumbar and lower thoracic region of the back. Depending on the origin, one can distinguish four parts of this muscle: vertebral part, costal part, iliac part, scapular part. Vertebral part originating from the spinous process of the 7 to 12 thoracic vertebrae and the thoracolumbar fascia. Costal part having origin from the 9th to 12th rib. Iliac part starting from the iliac crest. Scapular part starting from the inferior angle of the scapula. The innervation is carried by the thoracodorsal nerve C6 to C8, a branch of the branchial plexus. Bicep brachii. The bicep brachii muscle is one of the chief muscle of the arm. The origin at the scapula and the insertion into the radius of the bicep brachii means it can act on both the shoulder joint and the elbow joint, which is why this muscle participates in a few movements of the arm. Long head originates at the supraglenoid tubercle above the glenoid cavity of the scapula. It lies within the intrascapular space, but it still remains extrasynovial. The long bicep tendon makes a sharp turn at the humeral head and continues its course in the bicipital groove. This turning point is secured by ligaments at the capsular area. Short head arises at the apex of the coracoid process of the scapula, where it partly blends with the origin tendon of the coracobrachialis. The bicep brachii muscle is supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve, C5-C6, a branch of the branchial plexus. Coracobrachialis muscle. The coracobrachialis is a long and slender muscle of the anterior compartment of the arm. As its name suggests, it extends from the coracoid process of scapula to the shaft of the humerus. The coracobrachialis is a slender muscle that originates from the deep surface of the coracoid process of scapula. The muscle fibers run inferolaterally towards the humerus. They insert onto the anteromedial surface of the humeral shaft between the branchialis muscle and the medial head of triceps. The coracobrachialis muscle is innervated by the musculocutaneous nerve, C5-C7, a branch of lateral cord of the branchial plexus.